You are watching Tech Confessions, created by Amy Lewis and brought to you by VMware.
Hi, Keith. Welcome to Tech Confessions.
Oh, thanks for having me, Amy. I'm so ready for this.
Well, I can tell. I was going to say, nobody has relaxed more readily than you. I know you've been doing so much. We're here at Dell Tech World. You've been so busy.
I have been busy. Our good friend Stu, and I think you had Stu on Tech Confessions. He has like a Keith whip that he just takes out, but I don't even know if that's the confession. That's just,
That's just a truth.
Yeah, that's just truth. So, I've been doing double duty and just tired.
Well, we are so glad we can have you relax and get a confession out of you today.
Yeah, it's random because I saw a couch. I laid down, and next thing you know, I'm getting interviewed.
On camera.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
So we always like to ask our guests, when did you have your software-defined moment, as we like to say? When did you, I know you've done all sorts of jobs throughout the technology industry. When did you start thinking about software instead of just hardware?
You know what? The first time I saw a vMotion happen was pretty cool. I had always played around with virtualization, which was kind of software in general, desktop virtualization, VMware Workstation. And then I deployed my first VMware vSphere, which was VMware. It wasn't even called vSphere. It was VMware. It was vCenter 3.5 or something to that effect. And I did my first test vMotion after I got all the networking and everything working. And there's this workload that moved from one physical host to another one. Mind blown. Like, it was amazing.
That's so cool. So. My other favorite question is, what is a trend that you didn't see coming that surprised you?
Trend that I didn't see coming that surprised. You know what? I saw it coming, but I didn't accept it. That was containers.
Oh.
Right. A few years ago, Docker came out and I was writing about it on virtualized. You're like, I'm a Windows guy. I'm like, this makes no sense to me. Like, I'm a Windows packaging. Applications is easy. You have an executable, you deploy it onto a server, and you double click and it's done. I did not see containers blowing up the way that they did, and I'm fortunately, hopefully catching up now, and that's a trend I did not see coming.
So what is something that you predict is going to be hot in the future? Again, with your many interviews and talking to everybody and running your own thing at CTO Advisor, what are you predicting for us?
I know people don't like the term serverless.
Yeah.
But the concept of abstracting away the infrastructure, true software definedness, where coders are just writing code and pushing it to some amorphous cloud or whatever it is, this construct where developers don't have to think about servers. Serverless is huge. I interviewed the CTO of the New York Times. I have the CTO of JP Morgan on deck. Large enterprises are all in on this whole concept of freeing up their developers' mindsets from the underlying infrastructure and going serverless full steam ahead. So serverless is going to change enterprise IT.
Well, it's interesting about your comment there that is it a manpower, or should I say person power issue? Is it a developer kind of worker redeployment? What do you think is one of the big drivers there?
So it's freeing up, and when I interviewed the CTO of New York Times, this is where he said even his team struggled, was there's this thing where we get really caught up in speeds and feeds. We're at Dell Technologies World. They announced the VMAX, the new PowerMax. 10 million ILOPS, less than a millisecond of latency, blah, 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 blah. Great stuff, and we get, as geeks, we get caught up in that. And it was really hard for his team to pull away from that mindset to, you know what, there's a business problem, and I need to solve the business problem. There's somebody on the back end making the servers run and go and do, but that's abstracted away from me. I can just focus on the business problem. So it's refocusing, it's being able to refocus your really smart people on the things that matter, which is the problem and how to write code that solves the problem.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're giving advice to the next generation, I'm not going to ask what would you never do again. I'm going to ask what you would tell them. Like, we've got we do have so many opportunities and things have changed so much. What do you tell people who are looking to do what you do or coming out of school?
I'm going to answer the question of what I would never do again by answering. So early in my career, there's a point that as you're first learning, technology is amazing. You learn things and you think you get into a situation where you believe you're the first one to ever learn something, and you're not. So I was showing this one new engineer the amazing technology of RAID 5.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I pulled a drive to show him a server, how a hard drive could be rebuilt. And I put the drive in, and the next thing you know, my pager started to go off. The enterprise Lotus Note server went down because the drive I pulled was a drive in the production Lotus Note server that the engineer who had the job before me did not configure RAID 5, was RAID 0.
Oh.
So as you're learning technology, there's something that I get humbled all the time, is that there's people way smarter than me, and I can't make assumptions about the underlying technology. Always have to do my due diligence, and don't be a cowboy. That was really, I look back on it, that was really stupid. I didn't tell my manager, I would have got fired. I just said, I don't know, it failed.
I don't want to cheat and tell too much in the series, but you're the second person I know who had a mislabeled drive or a drive problem early in their. I think there's more of us than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more of that story out, because it's something that you can't explain to your management team. Oh, I pulled the wrong drive. Like, what do you mean? We pay you these tens of thousands of dollars a year to know this stuff, and you pulled the. How does that happen? So it does.
I like that. So no matter what we learn and no matter how technology changes, I love that. Just get the basics right.
Yeah, don't do stupid stuff. Like, that was really stupid. Like, no matter how much you learn, I had a computer programming teacher in grammar school, and she said, Keith, no matter how much you think, no matter how smart you are, if the disk drive light is red, physics doesn't change. The disk is still in use. If you eject it beforehand, doesn't mean that you're exempt from the disk going corrupt. So, yeah.
Good advice.
Basics.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Well, Amy, thanks for having me. I feel much better now.
Thank goodness. All right. If you're ready to unburden yourself at Tech Confessions, join us at techconfessionstheshow.com.